Okay, so ready to dive into the world of museum artifacts.
Always.
Today's deep dive is all about how to prepare for an exhibition registrar interview.
Oh, nice.
Think of it as like getting a backstage pass to the art world, all those like logistical challenges and, all the amazing masterpieces.
It's a lot more than people think.
Yeah, and we've got a ton of RoleCatcher resources to help you nail it.
Oh, cool.
Career guides, interview questions, and even some AI magic to like give you an edge.
AI? What, like a robot curator?
Not exactly, but close. We'll get to that in a bit.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
But first, let's just start with like the basics.
Okay, sounds good.
What exactly does an exhibition registrar even do? It's more than just, hanging paintings on walls, right?
Oh, yeah, way more.
Like what?
Well, imagine coordinating the movement of these super fragile sculptures, centuries-old tapestries, even like contemporary installations.
Yeah.
It's this delicate dance of logistics and art appreciation all at the same time.
So they're like the guardians of history.
Exactly.
Speaking of which,
Yeah.
RoleCatcher has these 10 common interview questions for exhibition registrars.
Oh, perfect. Let's hear them.
So let's tackle them one by one.
Okay, shoot.
First one, what experience do you have in exhibition registration?
Okay, so even if you haven't had that exact job title,
Right.
think about any work you've done that involved organization, attention to detail, or even just handling valuable objects.
Like what?
Like maybe you volunteered at a museum or organized a school art show.
Yeah, good point.
Anything like that.
Yeah, you could even mention relevant coursework or even personal projects that demonstrate those skills.
Right. Don't just list them, though.
Oh, yeah?
You got to bring them to life with, like, concrete examples.
Give me an example.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I'm organized.
Which everyone says.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tell them about that time you created, like, a color-coded inventory system for your personal art collection.
Oh, I like that.
Right.
Yeah. Yours shows you actually do it.
And guess what? RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you highlight those experiences. Yeah, by analyzing your resume and the specific job description.
So it's like having a personal coach tailoring your answers.
Exactly. Okay, ready for question 2.
To me.
All right. How do you ensure the accuracy of exhibition records and data?
Ooh, that's a good one.
This is where being meticulous really matters.
Yeah, you can't mess up the records.
Exactly. You need to show that you understand just how important accuracy is and that you have systems in place to avoid errors.
So like what kind of systems?
Well, think about double-checking your work, verifying information with multiple sources, and just maintaining organized records.
Makes sense.
So instead of just saying, I pay attention to detail,
Right.
you could describe your system for fact-checking historical information or like your meticulous spreadsheet for tracking loan agreements.
Oh, that's good.
And don't be afraid to show your passion for detail.
All right.
Like if you genuinely enjoy creating detailed condition reports, tell them. It shows you're really committed to preserving those precious artifacts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, ready for a trickier one?
Lay it on me.
All right, question 3. How do you handle conflicts or issues that arise during exhibition registration?
Oh.
Because let's face it, conflicts happen.
Especially when you have deadlines and priceless objects are involved.
Exactly. So hiring managers want to see that you can handle the pressure, think on your feet, and navigate tricky situations professionally.
It's like a high-stakes art heist movie.
Kind of. So think about a time you faced a challenge at work or even in a volunteer role.
Okay.
Maybe a shipment was delayed or a piece arrived damaged.
Oh, no.
How did you approach that situation? Did you stay calm? Did you communicate clearly with everyone involved?
So they're looking for problem-solving skills and a cool head under pressure.
Exactly. Share how you collaborated with others, negotiated solutions, and ultimately achieved a successful outcome even with all those obstacles.
It's like turning potential disasters into stories of triumph. Okay, I'm ready for the next one.
All right, question 4 gets a bit more technical.
Yeah, bring it on.
What software or tools do you use to manage exhibition registration?
Ooh, that's a good one.
This is where knowing industry standard programs comes in handy.
Like what kind of programs?
Well, think about databases, collection management systems, or any project management tools you've used.
Even just Excel for basic tracking.
Even Excel.
Okay, good to know.
But don't just name drop the software.
Right.
Briefly explain how you use them, what tasks they helped you accomplish, and how they contributed to the success of an exhibition.
So like tell a story about how you used that software to save the day.
Exactly. And if you're not familiar with the specific program they mention,
Yeah, that happens.
just be honest.
Like what would you say?
You could say something like, I haven't used that program, but I'm a quick learner and excited to expand my skill set.
That's a good one.
Right. And guess what?
What?
RoleCatcher's AI can actually help you here too.
Really? How?
It can identify the software that's most commonly used for similar roles,
Oh, wow.
and it can help you tailor your resume to emphasize your skills in those areas.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, so what's question 5?
All right, this one is all about time management.
Uh-huh.
How do you manage deadlines and timelines for exhibition registration?
This is a big one.
It is. It goes beyond just saying, I meet deadlines.
Yeah.
It's about showcasing your organizational skills and strategic thinking when it comes to managing time.
Give me an example.
Sure. Do you break down large projects into smaller steps? Do you use any project management software? What's your secret sauce for staying on schedule when you have to coordinate multiple tasks and stakeholders?
So it's about having a system.
Exactly. And don't forget about those unexpected hiccups.
Like what?
Like maybe a key piece arrives late or a lender changes their mind at the last minute.
Ugh, I hate when that happens.
Share how you adapted, reprioritized, and kept the exhibition on track. It shows you can handle the unpredictable nature of the museum world.
It's all about being flexible and resourceful.
Exactly. Okay, on to question 6. Are you ready?
I was born ready.
All right. How do you ensure compliance with exhibition policies and regulations?
This is where you got to know your stuff.
Absolutely. Remember, you're dealing with valuable objects, often with historical and cultural significance.
Yeah, you can't just wing it.
Right. You need to show a deep understanding of the ethical and legal aspects of managing museum artifacts.
So it's not just about following the rules.
Right. It's about understanding why those rules exist.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So instead of just saying, I follow the rules.
Which, again, everyone says.
Exactly. Talk about your experience with specific policies.
Like what?
Like those related to packing and shipping, obtaining loan agreements, or ensuring proper environmental controls for the artifacts.
Oh, yeah, good point.
And highlight your commitment to continuous learning.
Especially in a field where standards and regulations are always changing.
Exactly. It shows you're proactive about ensuring the safety and preservation of the objects in your care.
It's like being a responsible steward of cultural heritage.
I like that. Okay, question 7 is a big one.
Ooh. I'm nervous.
How do you manage the registration process for large-scale exhibitions with multiple venues?
That sounds complicated.
It can be, imagine coordinating the movement of hundreds of objects across multiple locations,
Wow.
each with its own set of regulations and logistical challenges.
That's a lot to juggle.
It is. This question is about showing your ability to handle complexity stacks and communicate effectively across teams and institutions.
So it's like being the conductor of an orchestra.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think about any large-scale projects you've managed.
Even if they weren't specifically in a museum context.
Right. Did you coordinate a major event? Did you lead a team with diverse skill sets?
I see.
Highlight those experiences.
And if you've worked on international exhibitions, even better.
Definitely. Share how you navigated customs regulations, language barriers, even cultural differences to make sure the transport and display of those objects went smoothly.
It's like a global art adventure.
Exactly. Okay, question 8. Time to talk about money.
Ooh, here we go.
How do you manage the budget for exhibition registration?
This is where things get real.
Museum budgets can be tight.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So you need to show you can allocate resources, wisely prioritize expenses, and basically make the most of limited funding.
Without sacrificing quality or ethical standards.
Exactly. Think about any budgeting experience you have, whether it's managing your own personal budget or overseeing finances for a project at work or even a volunteer gig.
Okay.
And don't forget those creative cost-saving measures. Did you negotiate a better rate with a shipping company? Did you find an innovative way to display objects without breaking the bank?
Resourcefulness is key.
Absolutely. Especially in the world of museums where funding can be unpredictable.
Okay, 2 more questions left. I think I can handle it.
All right, question 9 gets personal. How do you prioritize competing demands and manage your workload as an exhibition registrar?
We've all been there, juggling a million things at once.
Exactly. This question is all about showing your ability to stay organized, focused, and productive, even when you're bombarded with deadlines and a million responsibilities.
So how do you do it?
Share your system for managing your time, whether it's color-coded to-do lists, project management software, or just a strict adherence to daily schedules.
Oh, and what about those unexpected curveballs?
Like what?
Like, what if a shipment is delayed, or a piece needs emergency conservation, or a lender suddenly changes their mind?
All very real possibilities.
So how do you handle it?
It's about showcasing your flexibility, your adaptability, and your ability to prioritize tasks strategically without losing sight of the big picture.
Okay, last question, bring it on.
All right, question 10. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and best practices in exhibition registration?
This is about showing your commitment to lifelong learning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a field that's always evolving.
So what would you say?
What conferences have you attended? What journals do you read? Are there any online communities or forums you follow? Share your learning journey with the interviewer,
And highlight any areas of specialization you're passionate about.
like digital asset management or sustainable exhibition practices.
Oh, and I bet RoleCatcher can help here too.
You bet. It can identify relevant professional development opportunities based on your interests and the skills needed for specific job roles.
So it's like having a personalized career advisor in your pocket.
Exactly. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But before we move on, I want to emphasize one key point.
Okay, what's that?
It's important to prepare for these specific questions, of course.
Yeah.
But don't forget the bigger picture.
I mean,
It's not just about memorizing answers.
Right.
It's about understanding the role, showcasing your passion for art and history, and just letting your unique personality shine through.
because ultimately an interview is a two-way street.
Exactly. It's about finding the right fit, a place where you can contribute your skills and thrive in a career that aligns with your values and interests.
I like that a lot.
So now that we've kind of gone over those interview questions, let's look at what a career as an exhibition registrar actually looks like.
Yeah, I'm really interested in those behind-the-scenes roles that are like essential to making a museum work.
Me too.
What's the typical career path look like for this?
Well, RoleCatcher's career guide outlines those typical stages.
Okay, cool.
You usually start with like an exhibition assistant position. That's usually a first step into the museum world for a lot of people.
Okay, so what kind of tasks would an exhibition assistant do?
It's a lot of hands-on experience.
Okay.
Organizing artifact movements like packing and unpacking those, precious objects, condition checking, making sure everything's okay, even helping with the installation and de-installation of exhibitions.
That sounds like a great way to get up close and personal with history.
It is. And then from there, you might become an exhibition coordinator,
Okay.
where you have more responsibility for managing logistics,
Okay.
coordinating with vendors, and overseeing the movement of all those like irreplaceable artifacts.
So you're starting to take on more of a leadership role.
Yeah, exactly.
What comes after that?
Then it's on to assistant exhibition registrar,
Okay.
getting closer to the role you're aiming for. At this level, you'd be more involved in planning and documentation.
That's where all those meticulous record-keeping skills really matter.
Totally. You'd also be assisting with conservation and restoration work,
Wow.
making sure those objects are preserved for future generations.
It's crazy to think you could be working with pieces that are like hundreds or even thousands of years old.
It's definitely a privilege and a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
Then finally you reach that, coveted exhibition registrar position
You made it.
where you're in charge of the whole registration process from start to finish.
So you're like the conductor of the orchestra,
I like that.
making sure all those moving parts work together.
Exactly. You'd collaborate with curators, conservators, art handlers, security teams, basically everyone to make sure those exhibitions run smoothly.
Wow. So does the journey end there?
Not at all. With experience, you could become a senior exhibition registrar,
Okay.
leading a team of registrars overseeing those super complex international projects and even shaping the museum's exhibition policies.
So there's room to grow.
Definitely.
RoleCatcher really provides a roadmap for this career, huh?
It does. And its AI can also help you tailor your resume
Oh, yeah.
to highlight the skills and experience that matter most for each stage of your career.
Oh, that's smart.
It's not just applying for one job, it's building a whole career.
I love that.
Okay, so let's go back to the interview.
Okay.
We've talked about questions and career paths, but there's one crucial thing we haven't really touched on.
What's that?
Confidence.
Oh, yeah.
You could have all the knowledge and experience in the world, but if you don't seem confident during the interview...
It won't matter.
Exactly.
But how do you build that confidence?
Practice.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher has this awesome tool to help with that.
Oh, I've heard about this.
It's their AI-powered interview practice.
It's like having a virtual interview coach, right?
Exactly. You can record yourself answering common interview questions.
Okay.
And the AI gives you feedback on your delivery. It looks at your eye contact, your tone of voice, even your body language and how clearly you're explaining things.
That's insane.
It gives you the safe space to practice, experiment and see where you can improve.
Okay.
And the best part, it doesn't try to make you sound like a robot or rehearsed.
Okay.
It helps you present the best, most authentic version of yourself.
Yeah, I like that.
So let's move on to some tips for acing the actual interview.
Okay.
We've talked about showcasing your experience and skills, but what else are they looking for in an exhibition registrar?
Yeah, what are those like less tangible things?
Well, first they want to see passion.
Okay.
Remember, you're not just like managing objects.
Right.
You're taking care of pieces of Hildry culture, artistic expression.
Okay.
So let your enthusiasm show.
Yeah, don't be afraid to nerd out a little.
Exactly. Talk about what excites you about museums, what you love about working with art and artifacts, and how this role, fits into the museum's mission.
They want to see that genuine interest.
Exactly.
Okay, what about those soft skills?
Ooh, those are essential.
Like what?
Communication, teamwork, problem-solving, adaptability, being able to work under pressure and meet deadlines, all that.
Okay.
And you can highlight those throughout the interview, not just when they ask you a specific question about them.
Give me an example.
Okay, so when you're talking about how you manage deadlines, you could also mention how well you collaborate with other teams.
Okay. Yeah.
Or when you're talking about museum policies, you can highlight your commitment to being ethical
Right.
and being a responsible steward of cultural heritage.
So it's about weaving those soft skills into everything you talk about.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can also help you here.
Really?
Yeah, it can just show you which soft skills are most important for different roles.
So you can tailor your answers.
Exactly. Now let's talk about research.
Okay.
We mentioned earlier that you should research the museum and the job. Why is that so important?
Yeah. Why?
Because researching the museum shows that you're actually interested. It lets you tailor your answers to their needs and show how you would contribute to their specific institution.
So it's about going beyond the generic, I want to work here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look at their past exhibitions, their current collection, their plans for the future.
Okay.
What kind of art and artifacts do they focus on? What are their goals?
I see.
And this research can help you come up with good questions to ask them.
Yeah, that shows you're really engaged.
Exactly. Asking those insightful questions shows that you've done your homework and you're thinking critically about the role in the museum.
Yeah.
It also lets you gather info to decide if it's really the right fit for you.
Because an interview is a two-way street.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's talk about something that can be kind of scary.
What's that?
Salary negotiations.
How
can RoleCatcher help with that?
Well, RoleCatcher's AI can analyze salary data for similar roles in your area.
Okay.
So you have a realistic range to think about when you're negotiating.
That's so helpful.
It takes out the guesswork and helps you approach those conversations with confidence.
So you can ask for what you deserve.
Exactly. But salary isn't everything.
Right. It's about finding a balance between compensation and the value you bring.
Exactly.
And don't forget about the other benefits.
Like what?
Healthcare, vacation time, professional development opportunities, and just like the chance to work with amazing art every day.
All good points.
So we've talked about a lot.
We have.
Interview tips, career insights, even AI.
It all comes down to one thing.
What's that?
Be prepared, be passionate, be yourself.
I love that.
When you connect with the role, the museum, and the people you're talking to, that authenticity will shine through.
I agree. Okay, so before we finish this part of the deep dive,
do you
have a question for our listeners to think about?
I do. We've talked a lot about the technical parts of being an exhibition registrar, but what about the human side? How can you use your skills and passion to make those objects come alive for visitors?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's about going beyond the logistics.
Right.
Thinking about the stories those objects tell, the history they embody, and how they make people feel.
Exactly. How can you, as an exhibition registrar, help create an experience for visitors that's not just informative,
but inspiring and memorable?
Exactly. Now let's move on to the final part of our deep dive, where we'll explore how RoleCatcher can help you actually land that dream job. So we talked about how to ace the interview and what the career path looks like.
Yeah, and even like the heart of what makes this role so important.
But let's get practical.
Okay.
How does RoleCatcher actually help you get the job?
Yeah, knowing the field is one thing.
Right.
But getting your foot in the door,
Right.
That's the hard part.
And that's where RoleCatcher's AI-powered CV and resume builder comes in.
Okay.
It's not just about formatting.
Okay.
It analyzes the job description and suggests specific wording to highlight what that employer wants.
So it's like having a resume writer who's read every exhibition registrar job posting ever.
Pretty much. But RoleCatcher is even better because it's always learning
From what?
from successful resumes.
Oh, wow.
So it spots things that humans might miss.
Okay, give me an example.
Like, it might suggest you emphasize your experience with certain software,
Okay,
if that's what employers are looking for right now.
so no more guessing which buzzwords to use.
Exactly. And then there's this Get Discovered feature,
What's that?
where employers can actually search for candidates with your skills.
So they come to you.
Exactly. It's like shining a spotlight on you.
So you stand out from the crowd.
Exactly. It really increases your chances of being seen by the right people.
That's amazing. It's like a dream come true for anyone who's ever felt lost in the job search.
And it's not just matching keywords.
Okay.
It actually understands how people use language.
Mm-hmm.
So your resume is speaking the hiring manager's language.
Just like having a translator.
Right. Okay, so even with a great CV, job searching can be overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So RoleCatcher has this job search planner.
Okay, what does that do?
You can track your applications, schedule interviews, set reminders to follow up.
Oh, that would be so helpful.
It keeps everything organized. And there's also a networking tool.
What's that?
You can manage your contacts, link them to specific applications, keep track of like who you talk to and when.
So it's like a command center for your career.
Exactly. No more scattered spreadsheets.
Or sticky notes everywhere.
And it's all in one place.
That's so convenient.
It really is. So RoleCatcher is like this complete system to help you through the whole process.
From your CV to actually getting the job.
Exactly. It's a secret weapon for any aspiring exhibition registrar.
So from nailing those tough interview questions to getting noticed in a really competitive job market.
RoleCatcher has your back.
So be yourself, rock that interview.
And remember,
Yeah,
the world needs passionate people like you to keep art and history alive.
absolutely. That's it for our deep dive into the world of exhibition registrars.
Thanks for joining us.
And good luck on your job search.